I'm going to show you how to make the free in the hoop cherry coaster from Kreative Kiwi. For this I'm going to be using a 4x4 hoop, some masking tape, a layer of cutaway stabiliser, a selection of threads, T-pins, squizzers and my fabrics and batting cut to size. You'll find a link for this design in the video description below, along with lots of other information such as where I get my supplies and also some discount codes for you as well. Start off by hooping your stabiliser, and then we're going to pin around the top edge of the hoop to secure it in place. So take your pin, rest it on the inside hoop, push it through and then bring it back round and through the stabiliser again, and that will anchor it, and you're going to do that on all four sides. Load your file into your machine along with a neutral thread, and then you're going to stitch round number 1, and that's going to give you a placement outline for your batting. Place your batting over the outline and tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 2 to secure it. Trim away the excess batting from around the edge of the stitch line. Place your outer frame fabric over the top and tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 3 to secure it. Our next fabric is going to go over this stitch line here in the centre, like so. If you're worried about your fabric underneath showing through, you can trim out the centre here, so that's what we're going to do. Just make a little hole and trim around. Try not to cut your batting, of course. Place your centre fabric over the top and tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 4 to secure it. Load your thread colour for the quilting of the centre fabric into your machine and then stitch round number 5. You're now going to trim up your excess fabric from the centre here, so trim around close to the edge of the stitch line. You're now going to load your thread colour for the satin stitch border around the inner frame into your machine, and then you're going to stitch round number 6, and that's going to do the zigzagging of the raw edge, then the satin stitching, and then give you your placement outline for the fabric for your leaf. Place your leaf fabric over the outline here and tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 7, and that's going to secure it. Trim away the excess fabric from around the edge of the leaf stitching. Pop your hoop back into your machine and stitch round number 8, and that's going to do the detail in the leaf, also the satin stitching around the edge, and then it will go on to give you your placement outline for your cherry fabric. Place your cherry fabric over the outline here and tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 9 to secure it. I've swapped out my thread now to red to match my fabric. I've removed the tape. You're now going to trim up the excess fabric from around the edge of your cherries. You can now pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 10, and that's going to do the satin stitching around the edge of the cherries, so make sure that you've got an appropriate colour loaded into your machine. Load an appropriate colour for the cherry stalks into your machine, and then you're going to stitch round number 11. So next we're going to add our backing fabric, and you want your two pieces that are folded over and pressed. They go on the front of the hoop, and you want the fold towards the centre. Line them up so that they overlap, and then you're going to tape them in place. I put a piece of tape here as well, and this helps to hold this down so that as the foot travels round it doesn't slip underneath your fabrics. And then I'm going to put a little piece on the side as well. Then you're going to pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 12, and that's going to secure your backing fabric. I've loaded a matching bobbin and thread into my machine that's the same colour as my fabric, so that when I turn it out the right way you can't actually see the stitching around the seam if you pull on it. I've just had a technical glitch with my camera, so I'm very sorry. You're going to unhoop your coaster, and then you're going to trim up around the edge of your seam here, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm afraid I started cutting before I realised that the camera wasn't actually rolling. So that's the inside, and this is soon going to be the lining. Now that we've trimmed around the edge, we're going to snip into the corners so that when we turn it out the right way, the corners are going to sit nice and neatly. So snip towards your stitch line, but don't cut the stitching, of course. So once you've done that, you're going to turn this out the right way and push firmly into your corners so that they sit nice and neat. I'm going to push my scissors in there just to push them out. Take care not to push them right through the stitch line, of course. It's easily done. and then I just roll my edges so that they all fall neatly into place. And now I'm going to give that a light press with a pressing cloth over the top. And that's our in the hoop cherry coaster finished. I hope you enjoyed this stitch along. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified of new videos as soon as they're published. Do pop along to Creative Kiwi's Facebook group. There's lots of ideas, help and inspiration there for everybody. And thank you very much for joining me. You'll find a link to this design in the video description below, along with lots of other useful information such as where I get my supplies, and also some discount codes for you too.